Yep, it's the greatest Spider-Man movie of all time. If it's not your favorite, it's definitely going to be in your top 3. And I think the fact that people have been much more skeptical lately of Marvel movies, yet you still choose to put it in your top 3, speaks volumes to the fact that how amazing this movie was. My rating for this movie is a solid 9.5 out of 10. It did what Daredevil Born Again Season 2 failed to do, which was having so many characters, yet making sure your main characters get breathing room. I feel like it's rare nowadays where the protagonist feels like the goddamn protagonist. So especially in superhero movies, they get sidelined so often, or I don't know, it's just like they become very one-dimensional, mellowed down version of themselves because you have to keep like the popular protagonist as self-insert. But in this movie, Peter has nuance. He has nuance, he has a personality.
Give me a sec. Give me a sec. I'm not in high school anymore. Oh.
I'm so freaking happy that Tom finally got to be like iked out a proper Spider-Man material. The action is the greatest in any Spider-Man movie ever. It's not a competition. It has the best action. This choreography is fucking amazing. This movie is the perfect blend of Spider-Man 2 and then some next Spider-Man. This is why Spider-Man has a lot of people's favorite superhero, including mine. Even though he has powers, he feels so human. It just doesn't feel odd. There's no unnecessary, stupid, exaggerated drama. Everything just, you can genuinely see yourself going through Peter's experience. And this movie really hits the nail on the coffin with that one. And they nailed that human authenticity that Spider-Man brings even though he has superpowers, which I think a lot of superheroes fail to do, was perfectly captured in the scene where him, Ned, and MJ are just working out Legos.
You can ask me anything.
Okay, what if you're mid-swing and you decide you need to pee?
Some things I just can't tell you.
It was such a good scene. It's my favorite scene in the movie. It's so nice. The humor is so good. To talk about like the ribs and like the piss joke. Yes, it's good. I like it a lot. Punisher, easily my favorite dynamic in the movie. I think he genuinely has the best dynamic with Spider-Man, not counting Peter 2 and Peter 3.
Suit yourself.
There were some parts where I was like, Punisher is dumb, not a little too much. Specifically the scene where like he goes, spoiler alert, but Peter, they split up. Peter goes to fight the Hulk, and Punisher goes to look for G. And the guy who's training Millet, he's a Marine. He has so many medals and all that, like he's with the crazy missions. He has a gun, he's looking for Jean, and he gets distracted by like a weird skull or like an aquarium or something. I don't even know what it is, but he just gets distracted by it. I'm just like, dude, that's just not, Punisher wouldn't do that. But again, I'm not really a Punisher fan, so I don't really care. I think it was funny. But it was one of those moments, it's like, just tell your brain off, just ignore it. That was the only thing that was a little iffy about. I think that him fighting the Hulk, he doesn't really fight him.
You contain it. I go find the source, I take it down. You got it?
Are you just trying to get out of fighting the Hulk?
I guess so.
But I was kind of worried that Punisher fans are gonna see him as too much of like a comedic relief in the movie. But I feel like put Punisher, a guy who's just a very good Marine or a military soldier, against people with freaking superpowers, and this is exactly how it will turn out. Like he's as Peter said, it's way above his pay grade. He should not do that. But the dynamic was so funny. The big brother energy was amazing. Again, the Punisher and Peter has a lot of aspects of it which feels so comic booky. Maybe even the most comic booky aspect of this movie is the dynamic between Punisher and Spider-Man. It's so good. My complaint isn't on Jean, which is the majority of the complaints right now. People saying she's not an original Spider-Man villain. That's fair. I understand that complaint. Honestly, I don't really care for it just because the movie is entertaining on its own anyway. And plus, Spider-Man fights people all the time in the comics. It literally, it's a saying between comic book villains and Marvel villains which say, if you haven't fought Spider-Man, you're not a real villain yet. You don't count. Just because he fights genuinely everybody. So him fighting or like try to tie him down to like his own exclusive villains. I feel like it's a little, I don't know, not that it's a bad idea, it's just grounding. Like it's Spider-Man. He's an MCU, it's a big world. Why not have him involved with other characters, especially when it's X-Men? That's going to be the main center and front line of the next gen of MCU, and having Spider-Man so directly tied into that is, in my opinion, really cool, because very obviously they're setting up Spider-Man to be the next RDJ. He's going to be this phase as Iron Man, as the main character, obviously, so I don't mind it. I think it was pretty cool to have Jean that heavily involved Peter. So we got Jean, I think her character arc makes sense. A lot of people say she's too villainy at the beginning of the movie, and she turns too sympathetic at the end. That was my exact opinion on my first watch through, but when you keep rewatching it, her actions feel extremely consistent. She's a crash out, obviously. She's a loner, she's going crazy, but she doesn't directly kill anybody. People say there was that one guy that gets run over, but the car wasn't going fast enough for him to die, let's be honest. The entire time, she's supposed to be a reflection of Peter, who's isolating himself. Jean doesn't trust anybody, especially with her powers. She sees it as, I will only use you. If I need you, I will use you myself. I don't need anyone's help. And tiny scenes like that scene where she's talking to Peter through the civilians, where she starts, like she says, I'm gonna go look for MJ now.
Yo, Spider-Man, you okay? Did you get rid of that monster inside you?
I think I might go see how MJ's doing.
In that moment, before they start actually going at it, she's kind of trying to reach out to Peter about Sarah, and says, why are you helping damage control when they're hunting down people who are like us? They're weird. And Peter immediately, unknowingly obviously, but Peter immediately shuts her down, because he says, they're not looking for you because you're different, they're looking for you because you're dangerous. He knows more about Peter than so many other people, arguably more than anyone else in that exact moment in the Marvel Universe. So even though she knows Peter is very much like her, she's still not going to reach out, because again, they're supposed to be a reflection of each other. She's making fun of Peter for being lonely, but inherently she's the exact same. The way they handle Zendaya and MJ and Peter's dynamic was perfect, and was talked about already in the review, so I'm not going to go into it too much, but it was perfect. I'm so excited they shouldn't give him a hand-me-down win, and the kiss breaks the magic. Now breaks the spell. I'm so glad I didn't go through that. But the plot twist was so cruel, but so fucking perfect. One of the most cruelest thing that's ever happened to a live-action Spider-Man. That was so fucking weird. She pretended to be MJ. But then turns out it was just Jean controlling MJ and kissing him. Oh, that's just so crazy. My complaint of this movie, which isn't Jean Grey, it isn't the villain not being a Spider-Man origin, it's not the pacing, or any common complaint for that matter. My complaint of this movie is that it doesn't have anything to do with Born Again. I was so disappointed in that. You have the Hand, you have Punisher, you're saying Spider-Man has been active for 4 years now, behind the scenes, but there are no mentions to what he did in Born Again. Born Again Season 2 especially, where anti-vigilante task force was running rampant, and he just wasn't there. False assumptions, because for some reason I thought for 100% Daredevil is in this movie. It's because of that one interview when Charlie Cox like very suspiciously says, you're not in the movie. It really looks like he's lying, but he wasn't. He generally is in the movie, and you have the Hand in it. The Hand is the true Daredevil villain, and no mention of Daredevil. I was just like, come on. There's just no tie-ins. There's like a little I saw on Reddit where like there's little like pictures of Fisk in trash cans and stuff. What? That's just like such a hero Dio Easter egg. It's like, come on. I don't know. That was my only complaint. I'm just like, you just feel so disconnected from the previous, the literal last project, which was Born Again Season 2, which was pretty popular. For me, this is now competing with Iron Man 1 as my favorite MCU movie. I freaking love Spider-Man. I love Tom Holland. Spider-Man is my favorite live-action Spider-Man. So, obviously, I'm gonna like this movie. I'm not gonna complain about it too much. It was, hey, the cinematography was amazing. The action was amazing. The acting was amazing. The pacing was amazing. The OST was a little, per usual MCU OSTs are never really that good. The soundtrack is just so, it's not bad, but it's just bland. That's the one thing I wish the soundtrack was better. MCU really needs to step that up. But besides that, yeah, I think soundtrack and just Daredevil Born Again not having anything to do with this movie are my only real complaints. I'm gonna make a video giving you guys my top 10 favorite Spider-Man movies and maybe favorite superhero movies. I'll get them when I get them. But this is definitely, for me, favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. Great movie. Obviously, you're going to go watch it, so I don't have to tell you to go watch it, but go watch it regardless. And I appreciate it much, NyxFam. Tell me your opinions in the movie in the comments. Until next time, light it up.